So good morning all. Welcome back once again. Let me start with sharing the screen. Okay, so let us have a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous class. Are the slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the previous class, we discussed about visualizing the hypothesis. Uh, just a minute. Yeah. So we discussed the visualizing the hypothesis space. We took an example of a single unit perceptron, how a single perceptron would can be plotted on a two planes, right? We saw W1, W naught and W1 plane, and one more vertical axis that was the error of that particular weight, right? So we got a something parabolic structure of the error of different hypotheses. This was the same thing that we discussed, right? And then we also discussed the derivation of the gradient descent rule, which is very important from the examination point of view as well. So the direction of the descent, the arrow which you see here in the previous figure, so that was indicating the error and the approximation of that error in which direction that we have to take the steepest decline, right? So direction of the steepest descent along the error surface can be found by computing the derivative of that particular error, right, with respect to each component of vector. Now this vector derived the gradient, and we saw the formula for that. That is the error, the gradient of error, right? And we saw this training rule, how we can get the weight of in each iteration, and what is the change in that weight that we have to bring. We went ahead to derive the form of the gradient that can be obtained differentiating from the error, right, which was the previous figure, if you remember, error, the figure 4.2, sorry, the equation 4.2. Yeah, this one, this equation we derived it, and we saw how this derivation is useful. Yeah. So this derivation again, it's a simple derivation, simple steps of u minus v whole square, derivation of u minus v whole square. That's right. And ultimately, we saw the gradient descent training exam, the algorithm for the gradient descent, right? So this algorithm is also very important. And on similar grounds, now in today's lecture, we'll be discussing about the stochastic approximation to the gradient descent, right? We understand now what is a gradient descent, but how can we make use of different more approaches to get the better result depending on better situations. So the problem here, with the difficulty here with respect to the gradient descent is, for example, the practical difficulties that we when we get when we apply for this gradient descent is the converging to the local minimum, right? The converging to the local minimum can sometimes be quite slow, right? That it can require many thousands of gradient descent steps, because we are processing each and every step. If you recall the formulas, so we are processing each and every step. We are finding the weights of each input value, and then computing the change in the weight, and then computing the error. So converging to the local minimum can sometimes be quite slow in this case, and we may require around thousands of gradient descent steps to maybe reach to nearby local minimum, right? And the second problem or the difficulty that we face here is that if there are multiple local minimum, right, in case if there is a problem when we have multiple local minimum in the error surface, then there is no guarantee that the procedure will find that particular local global minimum, right? Because since there are multiple local minimum, the possibility of finding the global minimum in those situations become a little difficult, and the algorithm may not guarantee it, right? We may get the global minimum, but not every time. So one common variation in this gradient descent is to have this difficulty is called incremental gradient descent. Right now, in the previous case, as you said, as we have seen that we used to see the steepest increase in the error, and we used to negate that steepest increase in order to get that error removed, right? To decrease that error. So we, in the formula you must have seen, we used to assign a negative sign in front of the equation to negate those steepest, increase. So when we prefix it with negative, it becomes the steepest decrease, right? So here it is to elevate these difficulties called incremental gradient descent, right? And it is also known as stochastic gradient descent. So stochastic is actually the combination of a random probability distribution, right? Using statistics basically. Right. So behind this whole thing, the whole idea behind this whole thing is to approximate the gradient descent searched by the updating weights incrementally, following the calculations of the error for each individual example. Now, this definition is very important. This is the actual, you can say, the idea behind the stochastic gradient descent. Why stochastic gradient descent? We make use of this stochastic gradient descent instead of just the normal gradient descent that we have seen before, right? So the main idea is that it approximates the gradient descent search by the updating weight incrementally, right? Updating weights incrementally, following the calculations of the error for each individual example. Now, just to give you a overview of it, now this is the formula that we have already seen with respect to the change in the weight, right? Wi is equal to the product of three elements, that is first one being the learning rate eta, which is usually a positive constant, very small value, right? Maybe 0.1, 0.5, any small value. The smaller the value, the better will be the learning. Second element is the difference in the output, right? The targeted output and the output that we have got from the perceptron, right? So, and along with the product of the input that we are giving, the input unit. So the product of these three will make the change in the weight, right? Now, just to give you a brief, understanding, when we go and understand the gradient descent algorithm here. Yeah. So the stochastic gradient descent algorithm is almost similar. The everything, each these steps remains almost similar, but only the change in the weight here, that is for each linear unit. This is the normal gradient descent algorithm, right? This is the normal gradient descent algorithm in which we consider linear unit weight, right? Linear unit weight Wi. So the change in the linear weight becomes this formula, and accordingly for each linear unit weight, Wi becomes this. But this T4.1 equation and T4.2 equation can be replaced to perform the similar action, that is using the concept of stochastic gradient descent. So please notice the difference here. The only change in the stochastic gradient difference is the change in the weight formula and the Wi formula, right? The actual weight, unit weight. Now, what is that change? That this particular equation, that is T4.1, is replaced by this formula, right? So this formula becomes then Wi changes to Wi plus eta into T minus 1, T minus O into Xi, right? So I hope you notice the difference here, that we change the we bring in the learning rate here, right? As you can see here, we didn't bring the change in the Wi, but the component form of weight, the unit weight we have considered here, right? Let me show you the formula once again. This one, right? So equation T4.2 is simply deleted, and equation 4.1 is replaced by this. So the equation 4.2 is no more existing now. This will no more be considered. This will be deleted, and 4.1, this will be replaced with the component form of the weight formula, that is this. Wi implies Wi plus eta into T minus O into Xi. So this will give us the stochastic form of the gradient descent. Now, one way to view this stochastic gradient descent is to consider a distinct error. Now, what is this distinct error? Now, this distinct error function, which is defined for each individual training example, right? We are considering each training example here. If you recall the previous error function that we have seen, we considered all the training examples, right? We did the summation of it. Let me go back and show you the formula. Yeah. So here, as you can see, the error function, we made use of the sigmoid function here, wherein we consider all the training examples, right? Every training examples is summed together to compute the error, right? So it's the you can say the overall error of the all the training set or the all the training examples that we have. But in stochastic gradient descent, we consider each example individually, right? Let me show you that again. Yeah. So we define for each individual training example D for this formula. So what we are doing here, we are computing error every time with respect to every training example here, right? So when we consider every training example individually and then we compute error, then that means that for every training examples we have to compute those number of errors. Now, these errors, when we have, then we have the overall view of the total gradient descent that we have to perform, right? So the formula for to go about the distinct error function is this: ED, that is distinct error of the vector weight, is equal to half of the difference square of distinct the training example D targeted output minus the expected output, the output that we have got, right? The actual output of the perceptor, that is OD. So this is the error that we get for each training example, right? So this is not the summation of all the training examples, but that particular training example. And likewise, we can find the error for every training example, and then we can generalize it. Now, what is the difference between the standard gradient descent, which we have learned earlier, and stochastic gradient descent that we have just learned? Right? What is the key differences here? The first difference, that is in the standard gradient descent, the error is summed over all the examples, as I have just told you. The error is summed over all the examples before updating weights, right? Whereas in the stochastic gradient descent, weights are updated upon examining each training example, right? So the difference here is overall, like I just said, in the standard gradient descent, which we have learned in the previous lecture, we summed on all the training examples. We consider all the training examples, right? For example, you take any data set, let's say for the medical, analysis of a particular disease. So whatever the data that you have, all the examples that you have, all the cases that you consider all the cases and then you summed up all the examples to compute the error, right? That is a generalized error. But in stochastic approach, in the stochastic gradient descent, we take every training example and then we compute the error for that example. Then we move on to the next example, we compute the error for that example again. Then again the third example and the third error for that particular example, and so on, till whatever the training number of examples that we have, and those many number of training, those many numbers of errors that we will be having. So why this? Why this approach? By this approach, it will give us the better understanding of how every training example is contributing towards the overall error, right? So when we consider each and every example, each minute details, each difference in the errors is notable, and then accordingly steps can be taken. But in the standard gradient descent, when you consider, we get the overall view, right? We get the bigger picture of the error if there are any errors, and but through that approach, we may not be able to rightly point it out that which training example is actually creating most of the error or which are the examples which are suitable, right? So that is the approach used by the stochastic gradient descent, right? Each training example is examined separately, computing error every time. Now, the second key difference here with respect to the standard gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent is summing up over multiple examples. Right, summing over multiple examples in standard gradient descent, it requires more than computation per weight update step. Right, if you can recall, we when we computed the error, the weight, right. So that gradient descent approach, it requires more computation there, right? More computation because we do operations per weight update. Every time when we make the change, modification in the weight, that every step is computed, right? So it's a summing up over multiple examples. But on the other hand, because it uses the true gradient, right? The standard gradient descent is often used with a larger step size per weight update. So we can have larger step size per weight update than stochastic gradient descent. That is one flexibility that standard gradient descent allows us to do when we compare with the stochastic gradient descent. Right. So the another case wherein we can clearly point it out the difference between the standard gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent is that, let's suppose in case when we have there are multiple local minima, as I said previously. Let's say when we have local minima, multiple local minima with respect to that error vector, right? Error for that respective weight vector, then in that case the stochastic gradient descent can sometimes avoid falling into these local minima, right? Because we are considering each every example, the stochastic gradient descent can be avoided, right? It can avoid falling into these local minima, right? That exactly that local minima which we are looking for. The reason is because it uses various you know distinct error functions rather than distinct error vector to guide its search, right? So that avoids the stochastic gradient descents to exactly reach the local minima which we are looking for. So that is the another difference between the standard gradient descent and the stochastic gradient descent, right? So yeah, so is there any doubt so far? Anybody, any doubt? Right. So keep this thing in mind that whatever that we are discussing now, this is all with respect to the single unit perceptron, right? Linear unit perceptron. So let me show you the diagram. Yeah. So whatever the discussion that we had so far, this is with respect to the single unit perceptron. This is the single perceptron, right? But there can be ways when we can make use of multiple perceptron or multiple layered network, right? If you can see, we had just one layer network, but we can have multiple layered network. We will see into those examples also how can we have multiple layered network and how is it beneficial for us to include multiple layers in the network, right? But before that, any doubt? I would like to take any doubt before we proceed ahead. Please ask doubt if you have any. Anybody? Yeah, guys, respond. Any doubt? Sonali has a question that, sir, please tell us about the mode of assignment to submission. Sonali, assignment to submission, the mode remains the same. You have to, as you have done for the assignment one, you have to do the same for the assignment two also. So whatever we will be covering, everything you have to make your own notes for these things, and you have to submit those in the form of your PDF here in the classroom, Google Classroom itself, right?
Okay,
So,
sir. Thank you.
yeah. Anybody, any other doubt? So assignment two, as I have repeatedly again said, that the assignment two is whatever we have covered after your first I till the time of the next I dates. Whatever we'll be covering here in the lecture, you are supposed to write the handwritten notes of it. And as you have done for the first I, first assignment, you have to upload it in the form of PDF, and you know bring those assignments when you physically come here. So keep those notes carefully. But there are few people who have not yet submitted the first I. So let me warn you that since this is digitally, everything is digitally, and the Google Classroom will automatically detect who has submitted late and who has submitted when. If they have submitted within time, they will be automatically given full marks for the assignment. But those who have submitted late, they might uh, lose on some marks. So there are few more people who have not submitted the assignment. I would request them to submit as soon as possible, because you will end up having 0 marks if you don't submit within the time. Like, it is already the time for the second assignment. So please buckle up. Yeah, any doubt? Any doubt with respect to today's session or anything that we have covered so far? Yeah, guys, respond, please. Okay, Aditya says no doubt. What about others? Okay, then. So if there are no doubts, then we shall conclude the lecture here. Okay, please go through the notes, whatever we have discussed so far, and your today's main assignment will be like you have to go and understand the difference between what we have learned in the previous standard gradient descent and what we have learned today, that is the stochastic gradient descent. So please notice the difference here and understand uh, the aspect of the both the gradient descent. So this is a very minute difference in the stochastic gradient descent and the standard gradient descent. So please understand that aspect, because it has been repeatedly asked in uh, the VQ final exams also. So that will be today's lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you. You can leave the meeting.